What's up, guys? How's it going? So today I really wanted to talk about, well, two-factor authentication, well, 2FA, for short. This video is basically just going to contain, what is 2FA or two-factor authentication, and why you most likely, should use it if you are not using it already, and well, some recommendations, of mine to different authenticator apps. Let's get into the basics. When you try to access, into some website, like into the account system of some website, you will most likely be asked for a username or an email and a password. This would be, one-factor authentication. You see, there are like 3 different ways in which you can authenticate, that a user is trying to log into an account and it's not, just a random person, and it is, the correct user. So the first one, and the one used, mostly everywhere, is, knowledge, which is, something that only the user will know. This could be your password, your username, your email, your phone number, which very rarely used right now because that is information that a lot of people could just get access to. A PIN, or the answer to a question, like what's the name of your fish pet, for example. The second factor is possession, which is something that only that user would have. This could be a key, a security token, your phone, your bank card, etc., etc. And well, the third factor and last one is inherence, which is something that only the user is. This could be your fingerprint, your face, your voice, your eyes, the address of your eye. So with this knowledge, I think that it's pretty obvious, that two-factor authentication, what it means, that in order to get access to an account, you will need to successfully pass at least two of these 3 factors. All right, now let's get to the second question, which is why you should use, two-factor authentication if you're not using it already, of course. Well, you see, the whole reason of authentication is so that the computer, that you're communicating with can tell, that the person who's trying to get access into an account is the correct owner of that account. So basically, the computer is just trying to make sure that it's actually you, in order to, so in order to be sure that it is actually you, you had to pass, these many tests. Now, let's say that you write your account password into a piece of paper, which is something that you should never do, by the way. And your friend Mark decides to grab it. Now he has access to all your passwords, meaning that he can very easily trick the computer into thinking that the person who is actually trying to log in is you, when it's actually him. With two-factor authentication, Mark will need more than just some password, in order to convince the computer that he is you. For example, let's just say that the single authentication factor, in this case, is a code that is just sent to you by SMS, which is not safe, by the way, because it's not safe, so you should probably use another way. Well, now Mark will not only need your password, he will also need, physical access to your phone or SIM card, in order to be able to read, the content via SMS to your phone. So the whole point of two-factor authentication is, just to make sure that if one of your authentication factors is compromised, which will most likely be your password, or username, or email, unless someone has access to your phone too, they will not be able to access your account because they will still require to pass the second authentication factor in order to get in. Now, does having two-factor authentication make your account unhackable? No, definitely not. But it makes it a lot more difficult, and that's really the whole point of it. That's how security works. Nothing is impenetrable. You just add barriers and barriers and barriers, to make sure that it's, it's more difficult. That's it. And that's why now, whenever you try to log into an account in some website, you're most likely gonna get asked a username, your email, your password, your phone number, a code that is sent to your email, the answer to a question that you answered when you first created the account. These are all layers of security that if someone wanted to get into your account, they will first, need to successfully pass all of these layers before the website would even allow them to log into your account. And well, unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, two-factor authentication is becoming more of a requirement because username and passwords and emails, are just not that secure anymore. Huge database leaks of passwords with usernames, with emails, with phone numbers, just occur way too often. And most likely, the email and the password that you use in a website is freely available, to everyone that has access to that leak. But if you have two-factor authentication, well, now they also need your phone. So yeah, now that you know why 2FA, it's really necessary and what it is, let's get into some recommendations. So first, let's just get out of the way. First, let me start with Google Authenticator. And while I personally think that you should not use it, and use the other phone recommendations, it's still better than not using anything, alright? So Google Authenticator has two problems, which is why I don't recommend it. First, you cannot lock the app, meaning that if someone has access to your phone, whether it's physical access or remote hacked access to your phone, they can easily open the app and see your secret code. So basically, just completely bypass, that layer of security. And well, the second problem is that you cannot back up the accounts, meaning that if you lose your phone or change phone or whatever, well, now you have lost access to all of these codes, and you're gonna, and your accounts, and you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to get back into those accounts and unlock them if you can at all. So yeah, Google Authenticator better than nothing, but I would not recommend it at all. Oh, and one that is basically as bad as a Google Authenticator is Duo Mobile. Don't use it. But if you don't want to use the other ones, okay, fine, use it. It's better than nothing, sure. Second recommendation, or first, I guess, Authy. This app does the same as Google Authenticator, but in my opinion, is a more user-friendly way, and well, it allows you to back up your accounts and lock the app itself with another factor of authentication. You can use it either on your PC or your phone, or both at the same time. Third and last recommendation, or second. Microsoft Authenticator. Now, maybe not the best for privacy, because it's Microsoft after all. So, but it offers, all the features just like Authy, although you need to really log into a Microsoft account in order to use many of them. Oh, and there's an option for autofill. Don't turn it on, please. Just don't. Alright, that just defeats the whole purpose of using an app that can lock itself. So, don't. Alright. Now, these are all the ones that I recommend. There are more options out there. There are some companies that have their own authentication apps, just for their accounts. So these are not all the options out there, but these are some of the most used ones. And the ones that I personally would say you can most likely use without having any problems and things like that, or having to worry about stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll be safe out there, both in the internet and in real life. So, I'll see you guys in the next video.